Oh, man. Y'all ready for this? Are you ready for this one, dude? Let's go on the big dog named Austin tomorrow at 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30. The Colts and the Texans will battle it out for a playoff spot. In Indianapolis. Saturday Night Football. Let's go, man. I'm excited for this. I'm even more excited now. Thanks, Texans fans. Y'all showed out, man. Y'all proved me wrong. Y'all proved to me that there were, in fact, Houston Texans fans. So, shout out to the Houston Texans fan. Congratulations. Look, thank you for watching. Seriously, awesome. You left a bunch of Texans fans talking shit. I love it, man. That's what football is all about. Let's go, man. Let's go. That's part of what makes it fun. Is the fans, having a friendly back and forth banter. Sometimes not too friendly. Sometimes. In a game like this, in a division rivalry like this, some words might be exchanged. Okay, so that's just football. Look, man, I'm excited for this game. Let's get into it. This is my pregame video. That last video was definitely a message, but it was a message to Texans fans and to CJ Stroud. This game right here, this video right here is all you need to know for this game. Here's the facts. Okay, here are the facts. The Texans have won their last 7 road division games. That's a stat right there. So last year, their lone 3 wins were all on the road, all against division opponents. You look at the home game that the Texans played against the Colts this year. You could throw that out the window. That doesn't. Hi, I saw my wife out there. She saw by the window. You can throw that game out the window. That week 2 matchup means nothing. It means jack shit. That game, you might as well be 10 seasons ago, because pretty much two completely different teams. The Texans were 0-2, and then the very next week they smacked the Jaguars. Right? The Colts were 3-5. After losing their starting quarterback Anthony Richardson, and finally getting Jonathan Taylor back, and going through this and going through that, and both of these teams have a story to tell, have a great, fantastic, feel-good story about them. Both of these teams legitimately deserve to be in the playoffs, if I'm being completely honest. But only one can. And you know who I want. But CJ Stroud coming in here, man, he is a stud. I have heard nothing but praise for him, and I'm probably going to give him nothing but praise, to be completely honest, because he is a great quarterback. But you can't let him beat you. You can't let him, and be that surgical. You got to get after him. That's the key to this game, is winning in the trenches. You have to get after CJ Stroud if you want to beat this Texans team. If you don't sack CJ Stroud more than, I want to say, 2 or 3 times, that's minimum. That's low end. If you don't sack him that many times, more than that, you might as well forget about it. The Colts are the only team to sack him 6 times this season, which was in week 2. I know I said we throw that game out the window, but it's just a stat. So that's to say that he hasn't been sacked as much since that game. The offensive line is a little banged up for the Texans. The Texans are down a couple of players. Let me go ahead and get some stuff pulled up, because I know this injury report for the Texans. Tank Dell's out. Noah Brown's out. So that's big for the Texans. What else is it? Robert Woods is questionable. There was a defensive lineman, one of their pass rushers. And I'm sorry that I don't know, but he doesn't look like he's going to be able to go. I think he's out. But the Colts, on the other hand, they have a pretty solid injury report. Right now, Zach Moss is questionable. I expect him to play. I think the Colts do expect him to play too. Throughout the week, Ryan Kelly seemed to be the only guy. He was laboring a ankle injury that he suffered during the Raiders game, but he still played through it. So, and he was limited. He did not participate. Then he was limited. He had a boot on. I think Ryan Kelly's back. So that's what the Colts have going for them, is the fact that they're pretty healthy, all things considered. Like I said, that's it. That's the injury report. So I think that'll play a factor in this game. Nico Collins has been a stud. I said this after the Week 2 matchup that C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins were going to be a problem. And I wasn't messing around. Nico Collins has had 71 catches, 1,102 yards, 7 touchdowns, only 2 drops, which is a lot more than you could say about Kansas City Chiefs. But seriously, Nico Collins is a stud. It's going to be a difficult task for this young secondary to get good plays against a very surgical ball placement guy or whatever he called himself at the combine. I mean, this is the best quarterback that you've faced in months, and you cannot take this lightly. Like, you've got to win up front. You've got to get pressure on him. You've got to hit him. You've got to sack him. You've got to make him hurry. You got to make him, hit. And also, he holds on to the ball. That could come into play too. The Texans, I don't know if they can really run the ball. I don't think that they're great. I don't think they're horrible. But Devin Singletary, he's their leading rusher, 835 yards, 3 touchdowns on the year. Jonathan Taylor has been in and out of the lineup. He missed the first 3 games, missed a few games because of an injury. Now he's back. He has a total of 553 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns. He's averaging just below 4 yards a carry, 3.98 yards per carry. Jonathan Taylor's 5-0 against the Houston Texans. Okay, he averages 126 yards per game against the Houston Texans. That's also a stat that's worth noting. Shane Steichen is 2-0 against DeMeco Ryans, scoring 31 points in that game in each matchup. This year being the game against the Texans. The last time that Shane Steichen and DeMeco Ryans played was in the NFC Championship game, Eagles and Niners last year. You all know who that went to. But this is a huge, huge game. C.J. Stroud is 156 yards away from being the first Texans rookie quarterback with over 4. I don't remember what the stat was. I'm so sorry. C.J. Stroud is going to get 4,000 yards, and he's going to be like one of the first rookies to do so or something. I'm sorry that I don't have the stat off the top of my head. I just heard it on the radio this morning, and I tried to recall it, and then I realized mid-sentence, I don't have this stat. So, bad on me. But anyway, C.J. Stroud, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's good. That's That's stuff you want out of your 5, 6, 7-year quarterback. Only throwing 5 interceptions. Hopefully we can get him in a couple tomorrow. That'd be solid. But only to throw 5 interceptions, that's good, man. Gardner Minshew, 3,164 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. So you know who the better quarterback is. But it's a team game. It is a complete team game. And if you can get pressure, if you can get after C.J. Stroud, you have a chance to win this game. But it's going to be a very, very tough game. Very tough game. This is the biggest game inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. I know I said this in my previous video, but it is the biggest game inside of Lucas Oil Stadium in a better part of 9 years. 9-10 years. Colts Bengals, the AFC wildcard game. That was probably the last time that a game felt to that magnitude in Lucas Oil Stadium. Like, you haven't had a playoff game, home playoff game since. You haven't won the division since. This is the game. This is the moment that you can take that next level. You can take that leap. Go to the next level. Turn that page. I mean, look at us. Nobody thought we'd be here. Nobody thought that we'd be knocking on the door of the AFC playoffs, whether it's a 6 seed, whether it's a 7 seed, whether it's even a 4 seed, we win the South. Nobody thought that the Colts or the Texans, for that matter. I can't say that. I can't, discredit what the Texans have done. The Texans have turned it around too. The Colts and the Texans last year were playing for first place more or less. And now look at both teams. And I did have I have had a few positive Texans fans in that comment section. Like I said, it's all football. It's all playful banter. It's cool. One guy said, I'm glad that another Colts fan agrees that it's becoming a rivalry again. That's what you want, right? I don't want the South to suck. All those years the Colts just mopped the floor with the rest of the teams in the AFC South. I mean, sure, I want the AFC South title. Don't get me wrong. But a little bit of some competition is so much more fun. When you've got a game like this in Week 18, when Week 18 actually matters, that's all you could ask for. That's all you could ask for. I'm so glad it's in Lucas Oil. I'm so glad I'm going. I'm so glad I'm going to be there with my mom. I'm going to be with my dad. And we are going to be rocking. So, you Texans fans, you better be ready for the LAHD HAHSE. You better be ready for the LAHD HAHSE. And let me tell you something. I don't know who's banging the anvil. I don't know who's on the anvil. Okay, it's been Pat McAfee. Okay, I mean, it's been... Pat McAfee's done it a few times. It could be Pat McAfee. I mean, he gets the crowd going. But, man, if you put T.Y. Hilton on there, the owner of the Houston Texans, crowd's going to go insane. Crowd is going to go absolutely nuts. And I think that'd be the perfect person to put on the anvil. That's just me. But, man, I cannot wait for this one. I absolutely cannot wait for this one. This is a playoff game in your own building. Saturday Night Football. All eyes are on this game, man. Let's go. Let's go get us a playoff spot, man. Let's go, Colts!